mic was on mute again.
Dang it! Pull it together, Chase.
Welcome back.
And my headset's getting caught on my chair. What is going on? Lord help us. Welcome back to Get With The Program. I'm Chase Singer.
I'm Captain
And
America.
along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
We have Mr. John Young joining us today.
I don't hate what you do. I just hate what you look like.
I mean, it's
cool when you can when your actual sound clip is now your sound clip.
yeah.
I've made it. I'm in a rap song, as you two are as well.
I just pulled up the comment. Saber and Kelly. I was not expecting that song,
dude.
That was good.
It was good.
That was really good. Yes, well done.
It was good.
Well done. Very well done. What's up, Slater? Your mom. Who's your mom? Interesting. All right. We are here to talk about the TYR Cup. Just went down last weekend. I feel like it was like 2 weeks ago. I don't know why. What is today?
What is today?
Today's Thursday. I mean, it was almost a full week ago.
Yeah, true. It did started on a Friday. Bill, you started last week on the adaptive games. Dude, you and Jeremy crushed it.
Oh, thanks.
Crushed it. It was so good.
I'm glad you guys said that. It was super fun.
How hard was it though?
But super difficult, dude.
But difficult, why? I don't think people understand. Like, it's not a difficult because of the movements.
Okay, no. All right, so most of the time when we're calling like regionals, games, whatever, it usually ends up being if you have 4 heats, that you'll have 2 light heats that no one's talking, or it's that we use the announcer on the floor, the MC, and we kind of pipe that in, and you have the video kind of rolling, but the broadcasters don't get on for like 2 heats, or they'll just do the last 2 heats of that particular event. And you do that for each one of the, do it for the women, you do it for the men, and then you'll do it for the in the older days, you do it even for like the masters. That way you kind of split it off. But in every single one of the heats, it was a different division and it was a different race. And so there were no light heats.
You got to call
it was 7 a.m. to 6:30 all day long. 2 events per day.
And that's what it's like with the Masters division too.
Oh man.
Still different.
I mean, we had 30 heats per event that we called. So we were calling 60 heats a day.
But of the same. What?
That sounds terrible, Bill. Like that sounds really bad.
It's really interesting because in that particular, so you have your play-by-play that does like the who's doing what, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
That's out there, this is the rep set, the whatever. And then the color will kind of give the why and the how. And that's great. And for Jeremy, it was awesome for him because he would see the person and say the name on a very regular basis. I would not do that. I would be doing they're moving this way. They're up here. They have to be doing here. Trying to think of this particular movement. Talking about, I must have said the Think Neuro keys to success. No, I did say 60 times a day.
Bro, the keys to success.
And then you have to explain it in that particular division every single time. So I knew the people by face, but I didn't know them by name the way Jeremy did. He just knew everybody. By the second day, he could talk to everybody. And Rob said he was talking to everyone. Yeah. And me, I'm like, hey. And I'm like, oh, I remember that. Hey. Yeah. So it was really hard. But it was a lot of talking. It was a lot of fun. And they were, dude, I have never seen a more thankful group of people than how they were. Kevin wanted us to give them the experience, and we just did everything.
Yeah, you guys did that.
Sure. It was awesome.
Hey, is this Laura?
Yeah, I don't know why it says your mom.
Why'd you switch it? I was like, I know that picture.
I don't know what's going on there.
He's looked at that picture for a long time. He's
like,
it's a hot picture. My babe is hot,
John, before we jump into TYR Cup, did you get to watch any of the adaptive?
I watched a couple. I didn't know I'll be honest with you. I didn't know what I was watching. I didn't know what division it was. But I watched a couple. Of them. CJ from Wod Prep, he had a couple athletes that were.
Oh, nice.
I do a podcast with Wod Prep too, and he had a couple athletes that he was coaching in the adaptive division. So, I forget her name, but she's in the deaf division, and he's he says like she legitimately might make semifinals for Masters.
Oh, her name is Katie.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And like,
Dude, smashed every single event.
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
like she has a chance to make the age group semifinals.
Oh,
Like legit.
Yeah.
The individuals.
really cool.
So, yeah, I got to watch a couple of them, but I wasn't super paying attention to it.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey,
I'm just being honest.
I'm just kidding.
I had it on. I had it on in the background setting when I could watch and not watch. It's like, if anything, I just have it on.
Hold up, I'm literally covering the TYR Cup thing at the same time.
Hey, dude, I
we
get
did
it.
the spin cast at the exact same time. You can't be mad at
I
me
am
for
not
that.
even giving you any crap about it. All I know is that we came back from the end of that day, and we had this Airbnb, and we were just like crashed out on the couch, and we're watching it. And I had the hardest time watching the TYR Wodapalooza because the TYR Cup, because like my brain was so fried.
We CrossFitted out.
And I'm just like looking, I'm like, so people are just moving right now. I don't really even know what the fuck's even going on right now. It was hard on that side.
Into it where
Exactly.
that's exactly what was going on. But
yeah.
I get like that when I go to my gym, like after the games, they won't talk to me about the games. I'm like, guys, it whatever happened. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I've just talked about it.
Just go point them to like 6 different podcasts that you're on.
Yeah,
like I said it like all 9 times.
And they were like, man, Tia is so great, isn't she? Like, it's like that. And I'm like, yeah, she's really good. She's better than everybody. It's like stuff like that. I'm so burnt out on it. But
that's funny. That's really funny. Well, Bill, it was also just great to hear you on the mic again. So
thanks, man. It was good to be there.
That was a tune-up for Crash.
I'm ready, dude. I'm ready. I know. Fired up about that.
And I want to do this podcast later. It'll be a bit like this one we're doing today because we're going to go through the TYR Cup. We'll talk. The big things I want to talk about is what it was and what it can be, and all the things that basically lessons we picked up and learned that could be built upon to something great. I want to do something similar with Adaptive Masters Teens, of what that could be, because I mean, Masters and Teens went at the same weekend and they were split. TYR Cup and Adaptive went at the same weekend, right? There's a future where I would think the Teen Masters and Adaptive could all be working together for basically their own competition next year instead of like separate and just like splitting things 3 ways and conglomerated. But that'll be later. So a lot of good stuff came out of that. I really enjoyed that. But let's switch gears to TYR Cup. Obviously, that was last weekend, starting last Friday, ending on Sunday in Huntington Beach, California, which was nice. I haven't been back to California in that area in quite a while, actually. I can't remember the last time I was there. It might have been the last year of Carson, honestly.
Oh, dang. Really? That long ago?
Yeah, I think so.
I've never been west of Kansas City.
Really?
Wow. Really?
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta remember.
Well, my parents lived in South Dakota for a while. I think that's west of Kansas City, but like it's north though. You know, it's not.
That's really not west. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta visit California. Living there, talk to Bill.
I've always wanted to go to Utah and do that whole, all the national parks.
Utah's insane.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Utah's insane. I think there's like 4 people out there. It's pretty cool.
But format-wise and future of TYR Cup, I think, John, I listened to the spin last night. You guys did a great job covering it. I know you guys went through Hiller's positives and negatives video. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch it. The Hiller video first, and then we watched the spin and what you guys talked about. And being there and going there was, I think, just like anything new, everybody's a little bit on the fence, right? Like, what is this going to be? The fears of what it could possibly be in a negative sense. Like, is it going to be 5-0 after the first 2 days? And then we just watch people work out for the last day with nothing on the line? Or, how's the programming going to work? How's this format going to work? I was very excited and optimistic about the format because it's a format I've been wanting to see for quite a while in just the regular team competition. And I was excited to see it on display here because I knew that, and I feel this now future-wise, that if this can work in any capacity in a positive way, it's going to be huge for the team sport, both off-season and in-season for the CrossFit Games. And at the end of the weekend, for me, I feel like we got that. Like it panned out. There's a lot they can improve upon, and that's not to say that nothing was bad. It was like there's some just great foundational building blocks in terms of format, programming, both like, okay, we saw that work, maybe not that, and then let's introduce kind of this thing, which we'll talk about here. But I was really happy to see it go down. It was fun to be there and watch it in person. I hope it came across as well as it could off the broadcast. And I think this is going to be something big that next year can be bigger, better, and more exciting than it was this year.
Yeah, I think that they took a big risk at trying something new, because we know that there had to be a change. We know how our community is. If there's any ounce of change about anything, the world like gets turned upside down. Even though we know that some things need to be fixed or adjusted or could be done better or whatever. I mean, every time there's been a change of anything, we always seem to flip out. So I think that they took a risk at trying something new that maybe has, looks good on paper, but no one really knows what it's going to look like in actuality. And, regardless of maybe some of the technicalities of some of the activities they did or how they did them, as far as like the events, even some of the scoring stuff was, obviously it was, some of the stuff was happening on the fly because I was listening to you guys, and that was funny listening to you guys talking about how it was on the fly. But I think that you're just like we said, they set up, they had a lot of successes that it's like, okay, the floor didn't come out from underneath us on this. We actually did really well. All the athletes seemed to say that they were having a blast. At least the people that were there seemed to really have a good time. And those are all massive positives. Whether or not like I could come in the middle of it and try to figure out exactly what was going on. I mean, I don't think that and that piece always comes up all the time. Well, it's a competition. You should know exactly where you are and exactly what's happening, and exactly at that moment when you turn on the show. And I don't think that that's the end all be all marker, because I didn't know exactly what was going on when I was watching it either. But I could sit there and watch and see and get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what they're doing. I don't know exactly what the event is that particular time. But I thought that they took some chances, and I think that they did have some pretty good wins out of that to improve on.
John, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I echo what you guys are saying. I thought there was a lot of things. You could see the potential of what it could be. I thought there were a lot of things that like hit and were really fun to watch, but then like you wanted that to be the whole thing. Like you can add upon that. Like the stuff that worked, you can do more of it.
Yeah.
Like the monostructural, like the bike burpee run event,
like the spotlight events.
Yes, the spotlight events, and I think it should be. And I guess, are we going to do a format? Talk about the format thing. I won't get into.
Yeah, we'll roll it. I mean, so future talk here is like, you made a great point last night, and I 100% agree with you. And in the team competition, there's this fine line between balancing or maybe focusing too much on a balanced fitness test versus just a really cool format test to not find the fittest team here, but to find the best team here. And I think in the team competition, we don't need to have the perfect balance of monostructural gymnastics, weightlifting, and time domains and stimuluses and all this. Is like, we should challenge these teams to be challenged as exactly that. A team in a multitude of different ways, whether it's teams of 6, teams of 8, interval work, relays, pairs, spotlight events, 3s, 2s. That should be the format focus, not necessarily the most balanced test of fitness. Now, don't make every test like a max lift or a whatever, right? But the focus on, we got to make sure we have something like long more than just once, or super heavy more than this, and like, no, like you should be throwing everything you can at these teams to adapt, strategize, overcome, come together, work together. and be tested as a team versus the most balanced test of fitness to find a fit team.
Yeah, I mean, and then that leads way for like if the team is just smarter and they just strategize better than the fitter team,
right?
Then that makes like rivalries almost, and maybe not a rivalry, but people would root for the underdog if they're just finding ways how to strategize better than the other team.
Yeah,
you know,
go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say, if you think of a lot of the like more mainstream sport teams, it isn't always the fittest team that wins. You always hear it's like, oh man, they're just meaner. They're just tougher.
Right.
Or they just have grit. Or they're not as technically sound, but they just won't, like those kind of things. That becomes the marker of the great team, not the I've checked all 10, physical traits and on all of our characters and we have the ...
Yeah.
I agree with that. Do you guys think that it should be more of a an actual setup though on how those teams are being tested, or do you think that piece could be changed? Like, Chase, you had your here's the list. It should be 3 of these, 2 of those, 1 of these, and 1 of those. What do you guys think on that?
So I don't think it needs to be well balanced for the TYR SoCal Cup. I feel differently about the CrossFit Games, and we might. And I'm with you on format. If you want to keep the format where you got 2 guys, 2 girls, you got 1 guy, 1 girl, you got the whole team this time. I'm with you if you want to do format that way, but it needs to be well rounded at the games. That is it does need to be the fittest team. If somebody can outsmart you, they need to be pretty darn close to their fitness, right? The TYR SoCal Cup, I look at that as like this is our all-star game. Like I think you should show. I don't care if it's well balanced at all. I want to see them do the fastest legless rope climbs I've ever seen, right? Or like within a fitness format. Right, I'm not talking about grid. I'm not talking about making up. And Tyler went and Wade, like he's a better man to talk about it than I am as far as the difference between grid and that. But I want to see like that monostructural event. I want to see Dallin and Brent race 50 cows. I've never seen Brent Mikowski in so much pain in my life.
The greatest things I've ever seen, dude.
You
of
can't
all
tell
of them.
me. I didn't think it was possible for 9 minutes of recovery to not be enough. And it wasn't. That dude was in another world.
Yep.
And I want to see more of that. And I love the fact that Tia did every single freaking event. Like if the world pulled it off, that's like LeBron beating the Warriors. And then North America needs to be like, listen,
they do that at the Olympics.
Danielle Brando's not allowed on the team anymore. We got like, you know what I mean? Like, and then you figure it out. Like if she's that good, she could just beat everybody. That's okay. And then if she's not, she goes away, North America wins 10-2. World needs to step it up. I bet Roman and Ricky come out to play. You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about the blowout.
Right.
If the blowout happens, I want all the trash talk in the world to happen after it happens because it will make these athletes want to do it. They're getting paid pretty good. You know what I mean? And I want more of a showcase than a fitness competition.
So and your all-star is perfect on that. Go all-star for them because none of them will be at the games team event.
None.
Which is where you have to, you're right. And that's where you need to find your fit team, which is that one shouldn't be showcasey. That should be, we have our definition of what we're trying to accomplish at the same time having, and that's why I agree with Chase on having the, your actual setup on format. How many events, the format of what that'll be exact for those guys. I think it's way more important there, but I can see the all-star. I like that.
This is where I think you can have both. And that's where the difference can be in terms of attitude and approach. So yes, so I would love to see some semblance of this team to transfer directly to the game season, but how these things are implemented maybe in the games or versus TYR Cup. One is a bit more strict and precise and balanced, and the other is just like you said, John, just like it's the same thing, but it's more fun, it's loose, and there's a bit more excitement.
What would you do if they was like, okay, guys, we're gonna do a 40-yard dash on the beach, collective time? You know what I mean? That would be awesome.
Great.
Right? Like you'd have Guy, and then there's nobody fast in North America, maybe Dallin. But like, Guy runs off
One more ad?
4.8 on the beach. Dallin runs a 5.1, but then you got Tia who runs 5.6, and Emily Rolfe runs a 5.9, and then you just collective time and you stack them, and everybody just races. Even if you get dusted in the race, it's the fastest team that gets the point. Like, that would be an amazing thing. Zero cost. You just run freaking 40 yards in the beach. That's not hard to do at all.
And exactly. And how you do it. And okay, how do we make that fun? Do we put all 16 against each other? No, you don't. Right?
1v1. 8 races.
Exactly.
And then you
exactly. And then you race them, right? But at the games, maybe you do all certain
I'm not doing a 4-yard dash at the games.
No, they're not doing that. But so yes, and this is where I think the balance can be both, because like if I was at the games, and John, you just mentioned this, is like I would want structure of who can do what and when. So for example, a format I have is like, all right, say it's teams of 4, right? Say it's the Wodapalooza 3 men, 3 women format.
Okay.
Right. So we start the morning off with 3 and 3. Each team has 4 and 4. The next event is a spotlight event, and that person you pick cannot have done
the 3 and
3 one. Right? Or you have a games event of teams of it's 2 men, 2 women. Following that, it's pair competitions of the other 2 men and the other 2 women that didn't do that cross. Like
you know the workouts beforehand, and then you have to strategize what you want to do.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. But at the TYR Cup, it's like
Tia can do everything.
If Tia wants to do every single one of them, great. Why? Because it's an all-star game, and how cool would it be? And you guys talked about matchups. Like, I don't want to come to the TYR Cup and just look at the paper, which we basically did and almost were wrong. I was like, this team's going to win. Because if it's a fitness test or it's a numbers test, their numbers are just better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or when you get to the TYR Cup, it's like anything can happen. Tia can beat every single person on this. So if she does every single event, the world could win.
And she tried.
Right.
Scheme people. And Bill, you mentioned that on major sports. It's like, not always does the best team or the best record or whatever wins the football game, because this head coach over here took away your best player with their scheme, and they just like patchworked this job to beat you. And it happens all the time. And guess what? They're the most exciting things in sports when the number 1 seed loses to the number 8 seed because they had this weird thing that they weren't prepared to do. And it's the coolest thing. Mm-hmm. And so I think the TYR Cup can do that.
The Vikings are 3-0. I'm with you, Chase.
Right. things that I would like to see come into play is something like that. One thing in format, what I would love is that before they would stage, like you would have to submit who's on your team. You could change, I think, within 5 minutes of the event. And that happened a couple times, but people didn't really know who was doing what. What I would love to come to the stage at the TYR Cup, not at the CrossFit Games, because CrossFit Games, I think you should submit your athletes at least like the morning of or something like that, right? Is part, like they did these like athlete announcements every time, is like, no, before every event, you line up everyone on the team and you have a selection right there. You know who's taking this, right? They know who's taking it, but you don't know who's going against each other. Like, all right, guys, it's weightlifting 1v1 round 1. North America, world, at 3, 2, 1, step forward your first person, right? And it's like 3, 2, 1, and Sahar Kai steps in, and so does Daniel Brandon. You didn't know who it was going to be. Exactly, right? And you can't change it. It just happens, right? You step forward.
There's going to be this,
step forward.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All the looking back and forth that would be going on.
He was going to go first. I thought he was going to go last. Like, no, we're getting.
Well, Jeff went second. You know what I mean?
Right.
Jeff went second, and then North America's like, you know what I mean?
That be a part of the show, right? All right, hey, event's about to start. Teams line up. Select your athlete in 3, 2, 1. They step forward, and just like that reaction, it's like Tia steps in again. You're like, son of a bitch. I would like to see that added to the format next year. Another thing I'd like to see added to the format is more teams.
So Spin had an idea, and I love this idea, but I get how some people wouldn't love it. Is that you get 24 teams, or 24 people,
Mm-hmm.
3 teams of 8. But you have 3 team captains, and then when they get there, they just pick it backyard style. You get, and that's a you can stream that whole
That's a
thing.
show, bro.
Just a draft.
Yeah.
Just a draft. And like you play rock, paper, scissors for first, second, third pick, the captain, and then they just go.
Yeah.
And like the female games champion, the men games champion, and then the Wodapalooza champion. You know what I mean? Men or the women, like, and you'd have to figure it out. But I think that would be amazing.
4 teams of 6. How about
so female and male games Wodapalooza champion is what he would take there.
Oh, okay.
Of the previous year, that would be your captains. And if it's the same person, right, then you just go down to second place of Wodapalooza. Like you take Wodapalooza as the captains.
Got it.
After the male and female.
So there's some connection there.
Correct.
Interesting. I had a more expanded field, but a similar concept, but using the games as part of it. So, I really like that idea. I like that idea because it keeps Wodapalooza with Wodapalooza.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and the games champion is still a captain. It's just the other 2 are from Wodapalooza.
Okay.
Like Dallin would be the male captain because Sprague wasn't here.
Mm-hmm.
Or he would be one of the captains because Sprague wasn't here. Then you have your 24 people all lined up.
Yeah.
Just on a fence. I think they should go to a school and do it. And
dodgeballs kicking.
Yeah.
Picking your dodgeball team.
Yeah, put them in a gym. Put them in a basketball game, and then just have them pick people, and we'll just stream it. And
it
would be amazing. It would be amazing. But I want that last pick, right? Because look, if Seher Kaya gets the last pick, right?
Right.
And then she beats Danielle Brandon in the bar muscle up clean event when Danielle Brandon's pick 6. Can you imagine like what that does for her? Like she just bam, like on Danielle Brandon. Like that would be amazing, right? Instead, you got her sponsors who don't care about her, who tell her to take her post down. The only good post she had all week. Like
that's true.
Okay.
Shoot.
Dude, that would be amazing.
That's a better idea.
And I like it. I like it even better than trying to set up like these rivalries between like when we did the Invitational when you had the North America, like that's cool. But I think you would have way more competitive all-star teams. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just think that it would be really
totally changed my mind. You totally changed my mind because I had that written down at Old Invitational, and let's get away from it.
Yeah.
Dude, it'd be so fun. It'd be so fun. And then, you just got 4 different jerseys that you already got pre-packaged. And, they all say Wodapalooza. One's black, one's white, one's orange, one's red. Like you just already have that. Dude, it'd be awesome. And then, the years down the road, say it grows and it gets big. Then you can have, CrossFit celebrity coaches. And then Rich is a captain. And then Sevon's a captain. I'm a captain and Taylor's a captain. And then we're picking who we want on our team. And then it can grow is what I'm saying. And I think it would. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm retooling everything you guys just said. I'm scrapping my format because it was all right. Well, it was next year, have a represent. This is okay. I'm not even gonna say my idea. It's terrible. Terrible. That idea is so much better.
I'd effed him up, Bill.
Yeah, you did. Dang, you took the dodgeball and just slapped it right at him on that one.
Hey, listen, I'll take my L's. I'll be up front with it when I have that.
It's Spin's idea. I don't want to take credit. It's Spin's idea.
All right. So a spin on Spin's idea or a building off of is yes, maybe let's build it slowly because next year I was 10 teams. Let's fucking roll. But maybe build it up slowly. I think more teams will be more exciting.
The lower the number, the better athletes you're going to have.
Yeah. I agree. I
meant more teams than 2.
Oh, yeah. I think 4 is the cap.
4. All right. So 4. Let's say. How do you want to pick your 4? You say the winner of
the games, the highest male game competitor.
Okay.
Thumbs up. The highest female games competitor, and then the highest male and woman from Wodapalooza.
Sold.
Right?
Sold. I want to still keep the 8. I know there's about 4 teams of 6, 4 teams of 8.
You can go 3 teams of 8 if you want to, but
No, I like 4.
okay, yeah.
4 teams is great because then there's more chance. I wouldn't mind getting totally away from North America World concept.
Yeah.
Like you guys were saying is like, all right, here's your pool of 28 athletes because there's 4 being taken, right? It's male, male, female, female. They are the captains. They are going to pick. Here's the pool of 28. And then you have your draft. You must pick 4 men and 4 women. And it's just a snake draft back and forth. And you're like, hey, listen, I went all girls first.
That's fine. You can do that.
Right?
You have the best girls in the field.
But the show, now we're getting to the show is
it would be the draft show. It's like what they're doing now.
And then there's the graphic that comes up. And then the graphic comes up and it's a picture of them and their bio. And John just either celebrates them or shits on that pick.
Yeah.
30 seconds. And then Tyler goes to the other side. Like we just have this. It's like an NFL draft day.
Dude, I'll be the Mel Kiper. All right. I'll be that. Terrible 3rd round pick by Dallin. Terrible. They needed a gymnastics specialist, and he went with freaking Gee. Gee can't do nothing but lift weights. It's a terrible 3rd round pick.
What is it? You got Victor Hoffer sitting right there, and he took.
There's that beautiful, luscious flow of hair. Like you got. Oh my goodness.
And I think even before that, you get the format of the weekend, but not the events.
I think the events get released the minute after the teams are picked.
Ooh.
So we don't do this beforehand because 1, it's hard to get everybody in the same place. And I want that. I want everybody in the same place. I don't want it on Instagram or on just on YouTube.
It's in a gym.
Like
we're
how
all
they do with
in the
Fit
gym.
Fest. Yeah. So I want the crowd can be there if they want. Doesn't matter. We're gonna have this at James Madison High School. On the the corner of
George
Santa
Mason
Rico Street. Like doesn't matter. That's what I wanted though. And then or like a playground. It doesn't matter. And then everybody's there. Everybody has to meet here at 6 p.m. and then we're gonna pick teams. Captains are gonna pick teams. Like I want it like that. And then second, the last person is picked, Mr. or Miss Irrelevant. Second they're picked, then all of the workouts get released.
Okay.
And that so like say you do the draft on Wednesday, the workouts get released on Wednesday at 8. It starts on Friday.
All right.
Oh wow.
Here. So here was the biggest miss going into tier. The promotion and the buzz going into it.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because they tried with like the athlete announcements and those didn't work. They tried to do event announcements, but those just fell off the wayside. And the one thing I would say, take that idea that you had, John, instead of releasing it all at once, is that you actually do quite the opposite and make even more of a production and presentation leading into the Tier Cup, right? So say you have this giant in-person, this draft thing is the best thing. That's the best idea. It's not even like that is the best. That could be
it
the
would
best
be it's the
show.
open. That's the open announcement, dude.
Better than an open announcement.
Right?
Yeah.
Better than open announcement. But say you're 6 weeks leading into tier, right? You had the draft. The next week is like, we're going to have an event announcement show, and it's all the pairs events that will be programmed at tier. And we go event by event, and you have the coaches on the show or nobody on the show, and it's just like us pandering idiots talking circles of, all right, here's the first pair workout. Who would actually be the best pair?
The hard part about that, though, is you have to get them all together to do that.
No, not them. Just
the coaches.
No, for
the talking heads.
Oh yeah, no, we're past the draft. We're assuming the draft works.
No. But I'm saying the draft, everybody has to be there together. If you want to do that first,
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm moving past the draft.
So the events are released before the draft.
No, we're doing the draft.
How do you do the draft with everybody not there, though?
No, we do the draft with everybody there.
But where do you get them if it's 6 weeks outside of tier? Everybody's disbanded.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, then do
you
the
have
opposite.
to have that. Okay,
all right, let's do the opposite, right?
I'd release the events, have the coaches, and be like, you have this 28 people pool.
All right.
Who do you think is your pick? What's your first pick?
Now we're doing it. All right, so how about the draft Okay, build up. event announcements. Okay.
Yeah.
We're
Build
back
it up with the event announcement. And then we can
Event
be like,
announcement.
who
So
would
you
you
have-
pick?
Yeah, you
Right?
have 5. So say you know the athlete pool. Right? We know all the confirmed athletes for tier.
Mhm.
We know the, what is it, 4 times 4. So we know the 16 men and the 16 women that are confirmed for TYR Cup.
Yep.
Wodapalooza. We're going to have 4 weeks leading into the week of
3 events announced each week.
3 events announced each week. And then we sit there and like, listen, if I was this team, like if I was Tia's team, right? Or like who is the best and whatever. And now we've talked about at length forever. And that gives the coach's notes and the captain's notes of like who we think is best because we probably know better than they do because they're just focused on themselves as individual competitions. And
Well,
then
I know
you are in Huntington Beach and you rent out something on Wednesday night and you have all the athletes there and they pick the teams 2 days before the event starts.
Yep.
That's when you have the draft.
That's what you do. Yep.
And do it on Huntington Beach Pier.
Dude, the draft is going to be so much fun.
It would be
Huntington Beach Pier,
crazy.
or do it on the competition floor. Like, look, it's all usually still getting set up by that time, but like pick the Huntington Beach Pier, put down bleachers, rope that shit off, and then we just have a live selection show.
Yeah.
On Wednesday night, TYR Cup starting on Friday. The teams have all day Thursday to work together and strategize at local affiliates.
And can you imagine, like, every week we're going to be hyping up the draft?
Every week for
Like
4 to 6 weeks.
That's
prior
going to create hype around whatever. And
And
then you have one day of trash talk, right? You have that Thursday for teams to start being like, this is obviously the best team, right? Like,
right.
And then you go.
All of the buildup when you'll have one known variable because you'll have your captain, and then all the rest are unknown. So you're trying to put together these like pairings and these triples and foursomes or whatever of that team that you're trying to. Okay, what's going to be the best one with this captain, and what's going to be the best one with that captain?
I'm like, Dallon's probably picking Hopper. They're close together. You know what I mean?
Like with the team of North America this year, it's like Ariel, Alexis, and Danielle Brainerd were like the same human being.
Right.
And not human being, athlete.
Right.
Skill set's like, oh shit, it's like, oh, I picked all my buddies. Like, we're the same person. We have the same. What did we do? Like, Tia's like, all right, I'm picking all dudes first.
Yeah.
Right.
Because why would she not?
Right. Because she can do every event at the TYR Cup.
Yeah.
That would be super fun. Oh my gosh.
Going, Ricky.
Yeah, we recorded this for Dylan.
Jeff.
Right.
I got my 3 guys.
Oh, I like that. And the athlete announcements can be a thing bigger than they were this year. Right. So say maybe like this, the lead up and build up to this can be 2 months long. As you can have the first announcement is the captain's announcement, even though we know who it is, but maybe someone can't come.
You'd probably start the build up like a week after the games.
Right.
You let the games happen.
Yep.
Week or 2 go, but probably 2 weeks to let that 1 week everybody's coming down.
Yeah.
2 weeks go. Draft date is this date.
Mm-hmm.
These are the 4 captains. Like 2 weeks, and then like you'd confirm, right? And then these are the 4 captains, and then you just let it grow.
Yes. And then it's a pool of athletes that are announced.
Yep.
Hey, here the first 4 confirmed men and women for Wodapalooza. And we only have to interview them. We just talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
And now
they're already known characters.
And here's the thing. And now that we've had one TYR Cup, maybe half of them did it last year. Like there's now, right? They've already done the TYR Cup, or they've done team, or they did team this year, or whatever. And there's 4 weeks of build up with that because it's 4 things of 8. And then you have 4 more weeks of event bulk announcements.
Yeah.
Here's all the full team events. Here's all the pair. Here's all the games ones. Here's all the spotlights, whatever. And so you've been building this up since 2 weeks after the CrossFit Games, all building up to the draft show, which is 2 days before the event starts. Then they have a full day of prep practice, which you can do content off that. It's like, hey, there's a Thursday night preview show. We all went to different spots. It's like, all right, maybe we're all there in person. It's like, hey, John followed Team Tia. and just like hate watched her for 24 hours. And then Tyler followed this,
weights. I could do that.
that. Yeah. And whoever is like, all right, you guys watch them all day. What did you get? What did you gain from it? What did you and we just have this pre-show. And we're like, all right, now that we have the teams, the pre-show is what lineups do we think would be best to put out there? But the best part is, like we said on game day, is that before every single event, it is a team selection.
I think you should hit a gong, and then the 2 people step out, or the 4 people step out.
Right. You and the pair.
Can you imagine how much fun we would? Yeah, how much fun we would have if they actually had a gong, and then they're like, Dylan, bang that gong.
Yeah.
And then they just put the bam. Yeah, and then they step out. How fun would that be? I get it's ridiculous, but how fun would that be?
Though? That's going to be the best part. And we're mic'd, and we're not like our mics are shut off while they make the announcement. It's just a wide shot, and they step through, and we react how we react live and in person.
Yeah.
Like if, say it's the clean ladder thing again on the first weight, and then freaking like Guy steps in. Like what our reaction would be.
That's real dumb, but
yeah, right.
That's my reaction.
Or they thought they're trying to play the game, right? It's like, all right, when do we put our best lifter in there? Like we should probably put him not in the last bar where we think Guy's going to be. And we put our best.
Not smart enough for that. That's
I know, but now we're like that's part of the game.
Yeah.
And if they screw something up,
I do think if you let me be a coach, Tyler be a coach, and Spin be a coach, like if you had those and like the athletes had to go wherever we had them go, I do think chess would be played in that role. I don't think we're really far away from that happening. But if like we wrote down who goes, they had no choice.
All right,
I don't think would ever happen.
Name 4 coaches you think could actually like do a good job at that. Adam,
at placing people.
Are you talking athlete coaches?
No, no athlete coaches.
Oh, okay.
Coaches. Someone that is not competing. I think Adam Neifer, who was secretly coaching that team the whole time, which he should have been, and that's a big weapon.
I mean, if he told Emily Rolfe to roll that ball that way, then he's lost all credibility.
Watching her do that from the start to the finish was the most painful thing.
Did you hear me go off on it on the spin?
Yeah,
you should.
I was there on the sideline going, look around. In my head, I was like, all right, maybe for the 150-pound ball, they had to push it. And then nobody did that except for Ariel. And halfway through, she's like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Adam Neifer.
I think
Rich.
I don't think Rich would want to play.
You don't think he'd want to coach?
I don't think so.
No.
Rich is not a big coach.
But in this format, since it's in this format,
I just don't think so. Carolyn Lambre would.
All right.
Torres. And you could have somebody from each camp is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I see where you're going.
And then Kotler. Kotler would love it.
Kotler would be dude. He's talking about grid.
He's grid right there. Yeah,
Kotler would love it.
Kotler, Neifer. Because you need some characters on the coach's side too.
Yeah.
And the coaches need to be mic'd up the whole time. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a coach's mic thing that we just click on during the broadcast.
Torres. And then Lambre. Unless you want to throw me in there, I feel like I'd beat them all. But
But any international, like Shane?
He's international?
I mean,
wow.
Yami?
Singleton.
Each team needs to have a coach. And they all need to be mic'd during the whole thing.
I'm going to laugh when Tia picks Laura and Gabby on the same team just to see how that drama
Oh, Kotler would be such a great.
He would absolutely blow the mic out, dude. He would get so hyped up the whole time.
I would love to be on that team.
Man.
I think you should put like coaches. Like there should be just people
Keeper
that
told
put,
Rolf to push the D ball. All right, he's out.
Yeah, like you should just have people put their name in the ring that would like to be a coach. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be anybody. Sevon could put his name in there.
Fraser, that would
and
be
then just
good.
have the have people vote on it. Top 4 votes get to be coaches.
Oh, that'd be fun too. That way you can pull the community in like that.
Well, I'm just thinking, think if you have Kotler and then Sevon next to each other, coaching.
That might be a little too extreme.
I think that'd be hilarious.
It's like, Sevon, I'm like, all right, who's good?
Kotler, yeah, jeez, it's seriously.
Who's
got the bigger boobs in this group? Who's got the bigger boobs? Okay, you're in on this one. Okay, cool.
Max L. Hodge, I think he'd do it.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Maybe a fan vote for the coaches.
I don't want it to be a camp thing. I don't want to. I'm so tired of doing I'm so tired of like we're gonna give this camp this thing and that camp. Yeah.
Let's do away with the coaches. Let's just let the athletes do it.
All right.
I like that.
I'm cool with that. So captains.
Yeah, captains, and then
Mike the captains.
Yeah, captain should be mic'd at all times.
Even when on the floor.
I wish I could. I think I said this on Spin. If Vellner was mic'd up during that event where they're pushing all the things, and he's rolling his next to Emily, just Emily, what the freak are you doing? I just want to listen to this.
I do watching it. I wish that the athletes were mic'd because I was really like of the events that I did see, I was really trying hard to read lips because that there was all kinds of shit to each other, shit to the other team.
Yeah.
Just shit comments. I really wish I could have heard everything that was said. That would have been so funny. When Jeff took
the worm by himself, like,
Bro,
I got it. Leave me alone.
When he did that, the crowd went
Dude, it was such a VA move.
Nuts.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And then Dallin rolled his eyes. I guess I got to do it too.
Yeah.
And then Justin was struggling trying to do it.
That'd be funny if like Jeff had grabbed the 221 and Justin's like, oh, I can do that. And like pick the 310.
Yeah.
In the sand. Okay. I think, all right. Dear Dylan.
I hope it seriously.
Dear Dylan.
Yeah. Somebody tell him to watch this show.
He'll watch it.
All right.
And Dylan, I'm not telling you what to do. None of us are telling you what to do. It's your competition. I thought it was great.
Yes.
It's outside dreaming. That's all.
Well, this is how excited we are.
It could be much greater.
Yes. And Dylan would want that too. And he recognizes that. Like we knew the promo for this wasn't very good and the buzz and like all that. The more athletes you put into this, the more teams you have, the more exciting it's going to be. It's not the fear of, oh, will this be over by the time we reached a Saturday? The World versus North America team was cool, but like now we get to a selection of 4 captains in a draft. Arguably, it's way more balanced than it possibly could be, or not if the captain screwed up.
But then that's part of it, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I also I don't think a lot of people knew what it was.
Yeah.
Like just outside. If anything, this year could just be proof of concept.
Totally.
And I think it did that, proof of concept wise. I'm not mad that it was here. I was thoroughly entertained. Mm-hmm. I might have been bored a couple times, but I was entertained for the most part.
Right. Well, and then, so here's the buzz. The captain announcements, the athlete announcements, the event announcements, and now going into that, you know exactly what is about to happen. Mm-hmm. You know who's competing. You know what every single event is. You know exactly the format. And then on Wednesday night, you are going to know who the teams are. And then we have 24 hours of buildup and excitement of who's going to do what, who should do what, who's going to actually pick. And then during the event it's happening, like what it needs to be is anticipation.
I'm not gonna lie, Chase. That sounds miserable. That sounds like 8 hours of straight podcasting for me. That's what that sounds like.
It is, right? That's true.
I'm gonna have to do one of those Sean lozenges for my voice.
But that's gonna be great, right? It's gonna be great. Oh man. Oh, this could be so. And this is yes, get away from the old invitational days. Don't replicate that. The proof of concept is this new concept.
Hey, and I'm going to sound like I don't know anything right now, but why was Brent on the world team? Like, what happened there?
There
So
was
it was supposed to be Lazar,
Right, obviously.
Roman,
and Ricky.
and Ricky. Roman and Ricky were hurt at the games, and they just said, well, "I'm going to recover for Rogue," so they're out, right? And so they were 3 guys out that were supposed to be in, and it was already looking pretty rough with who they had. I
Yeah.
mean, Annual and Guy did great, but like it was just what they were against. It was already looking rough. So Brent
Right.
was like, "Okay, well, I'll just be on North America." That's
Okay.
I don't know if that's exactly how it happened, but more or less that's
More or less. Okay. And I think that from an outside perspective, seeing for whatever the reason was, people being hurt, whatever, that taking the invitational style out, splitting away from like the continents or the teams or whatever, again, you now have one with they're all just being colored teams, whatever colors you want to go with. You have your 4 teams. You're going to have ideally a more equal pool of teams, and then it doesn't matter like if something's going to be lopsided. I know that there were a lot of people, myself included. Granted, I was coming in late because I was doing my own stuff, but that would see Pat on one side and Brent on the other side, and then like I
be
don't
confused. Yeah,
100%. You know, so I think that would be I like the idea of just like what you talked about, 4 different colored jerseys, they all go, and then you're set up. I think that would be great.
And I also think it makes it way more about the athletes rather than the region.
Right, totally.
Yeah,
And that's just another opportunity for sponsors. That's just another, you know what I mean? It's just more opportunities for everybody rather than Team Canada, Team USA.
True.
I know the Invitational was awesome.
Yeah,
But
it was.
I do think this is a better way.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, then you can have it to where you have, once it gets going this way and it goes big that way, you have your black, yellow, red, blue teams, and they become sponsored teams, kind of like Tour de
Kit
France.
announcements, right? Of what the kits and the jerseys are going to look like.
Well, I think what we tried to do for the games, or what, like there was Tyler kind of failed with this, but like we were going to try to be teams with Heat 1.
Right.
And the pool that I had was North America West. And like instead of that, you could do Heat 1 teams. And then you do exactly what he was doing. Like we had names and like we're gonna make jerseys and everything, it just kind of fell through. But you could do that exact same thing with this.
Yeah. I like that.
Man,
I like that a lot.
That would be that'd be so good.
Okay, last thing, just I want to go back in. This is kind of off the cuff before we close out because I think this is exactly what I wanted to happen. I had no plan, but this was beautiful. Is your favorite event or moments from the TYR Cup this past weekend? I'll start. My favorite event was the one that I didn't think was going to be great, and it ended up being my favorite one. It was hard to maybe follow at first or understand what it even was because it was a late announcement.
The moving company event?
Yes, and different coverage. But event 8, it was start off Sunday morning. It is basically 320 RX heavy drag rope dubs where every individual had to do 40 unbroken, and then they got released maybe into the weight moving, right? Move 3,200 pounds of equipment, and then the sleds, go back to the rope, sleds, and then the equipment. As crazy as that may have looked and hard to follow, that was the coolest. They had some of the most fun and exciting moments and just wild, classic, like, I don't want to say like in the sand moments, like Aroma style, but like that was the most classic OG, take all that stuff and move it over here and then move it back kind of an event. That was the most fun one I was not even involved with. I just got to watch from the side all weekend long. I'll put that as my favorite. There's some good ones in there. Maybe if you guys have a couple different ones than that one, but
I thought that one was cool. It reminded me of the sandbag and the wheelbarrow one.
Okay, the sandbag move in the stadium.
Yeah, the same kind of feel. Just like here's some things, go move them over there. I thought that was cool.
I mean, I think that was the start of Dallin needs to be the MVP too. That event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the bike one came after that event, I think. But like those two events were like, I think Dallon's claim to MVP.
Yeah.
But then,
Dallon pulling one of those alpaca sleds by himself for like 25 seconds was nuts.
Yeah.
I think for me, was what event was that? 9, the 50/50 500.
Oh, the mono.
Yeah, every single CrossFitter that goes to a CrossFit gym knows what it feels like to bury yourself on something and just like you're kind of rolling around on the ground. And we never, ever, ever see the heroes of our sport doing that. And we saw athletes destroyed by that one. And it was so impressive. One, to see that, like, impressive. Maybe just like interesting to see how these big names that we see just crush everything, just get absolutely buried, to where they looked worried themselves. Like, how the hell am I supposed to do this next thing? Like, there's
They
absolutely
didn't.
no way.
Whoever did this one, none of them did the next
event. Right? I know.
They were done after this.
The funny thing is, both Emily and Dallon were slated to do the next one, and both were taken off. Yep. All of them were taken off.
Yeah.
No shot.
I think the athletes, our athletes that are out there, are so good and they're so good at pacing, and they understand how to work so hard that having 3 max efforts at that number, and it was just enough to dip them right past the line of, okay, I just can't go the same speed anymore, but I have to for the last
it was awesome.
10. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, this is my favorite event too, for all of the reasons that Bill said. But it made me a huge fan of Justin. Justin being the greatest teammate of all time.
Oh
with
my gosh.
5 ice bags at the ready, nonstop. And I don't know why, but it just made me like Justin so much more. I was pretty I was the first OG hater of Justin when he was winning. and then everybody started hating on him. And then I went to neutral, like, y'all are, the pendulum swung too much. And now I'm team Justin. Like, I want him to do good. He just was the greatest teammate of all time in that,
he really was.
Workout. I also really like the bar muscle up clean workout, but more not because of the workout, but just Seher Kaya and Annual Akai, if you watch their reactions, they did not expect to win. No. And then when they did, just to see the joy, Annual Akai, Games rookie, just beat a guy that's probably on Mount Rushmore, right? A 2-time CrossFit Games champion. And he was so pumped about it. Seher Kaya, for dang sure, didn't expect to win. She didn't know what to do with herself. And it was just really cool to see, because these guys, I think they are also some of the fittest people in the world. I think they have earned that title to call themselves. Like, I would put them in the top 40 men and women, fittest women in the world. But they're punching up. They're out of their league in this. We all know it. And then for them to win that event, that part, it was just really fun to see their reactions.
Yeah, that was awesome. And everyone's reactions there. And the opposite for Daniel.
Tia was like, we might have a shot, guys.
Yeah, that was like, oh my gosh, is this going to happen? And Daniel Brandon missing that last bar muscle up was, and they're like, oh, then is like, could she catch her?
And she should have caught her, but but Danielle Brandon decided not to catch
frustrated. Her. But then Justin missing that clean, it was like 285.
Yeah.
Him missing that clean when he has a history of hitting that clean to win events. He's hit it twice. He did it in 2021 on the run clean, where both, Vellner and Fikowski missed the bar and Justin hits it to win. And then he did it last year or this year.
You don't expect him to miss that. No,
that's a Justin win. And then when he didn't get it, because Annual was closing on him too. So there was that anticipation. But when Justin got to the last bar first, I was like, oh.
He just needed to hit it.
I was like, oh, Justin got him. And then he missed it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's, yes. And that's it. So listen, TYR, you guys did a great job. Please watch this show. We would be happy to do all the work for you to promote this because of how great,
so fun,
because of how awesome this could be. And just a little step forward this could be the most exciting event we have every year. From just a wild, fun, show that we haven't really gotten in a long time.
It could be with the way the dunk contest was with Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine for
God,
3 straight years.
Ever.
That's what it could be. That's what it could be. Or everybody's hyped to see what they're about to do.
Yeah. Gordon got robbed.
Both times.
All right, guys, before we jet, we just want to let you guys know that Jeopardy will be coming back tomorrow. The contestants will be Dallin Pepper versus Adam Knifer and Caroline Lambre. Dallin is the repeat champion, so I want to argue that he should have won the first time with that review of the hand call. So that'll be tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central. So you guys join us there. We got 3 guests on that are already talking trash in the text group that I have them in, and they're all very excited. I'm excited as well. And that'll be it. John, you guys, any other podcasts or things coming up? Is there a games update show coming up?
No, I don't think so. I do have a podcast today. It's the inaugural podcast.
That's right, yours.
Yeah, Unashamed Faith and Fitness. I'm doing it with Brock Kirby. And it's not really a CrossFit podcast. We're just talking about random things in the world and like a Christian outlook on what it should be or could be, or just our thoughts on it. It's not meant to be a CrossFit podcast, so it's just kind of a breath of fresh air for me. But that's today at 7:30 Central. Yep. And then if Sevon's doing something, it'll be on Friday.
Unashamed.
Yes.
Podcast? Is that it?
I'd be shocked if that was. I will post it on my Instagram.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys, go follow. So tonight, you guys have that podcast, 7:30 p.m. Central. Check John's Instagram for the link and the time, and that goes down. That's awesome. I love to hear that. So I'll check that out. So we will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central for CrossFit Jeopardy, episode 10.
Episode 10. Really?
And if you guys didn't watch on Coffee Pods and Wads yesterday, they had their final. The final finale of all the finals. It was yesterday on Coffee Pods and Wads on Around the Whiteboard. And then I did watch this last night. Is that you guys did your popular selection show for the men?
Yes.
Will that be happening for the women?
You would think so. They kind of sprung that up on me last minute.
Yeah. So I thought that was really fun. So that was on the Savon podcast last night.
It was more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Male games champions, and I hope Caleb comes on again and just derails the entire selection.
Man, he's so funny, dude.
So good. But all right, guys, thanks for joining us. Congratulations to the TYR Cup. Please watch the show because we would love to help make it as great as we know it can be. See you guys Friday.